My parents stormed into my job, screaming that I'd destroyed the family, all because I didn't want to be my sister's wallet anymore. But this time, I didn't just stand my ground. I burned the bridge and poured gas on it. My parents stormed into my workplace, shouting at the top of their lungs that I had ruined the family name, all because I wouldn't cover my sister's rent again. They went off in front of my boss, calling me a disgrace, a traitor, and flat out demanded I hand over my paycheck right then and there. I walked out mid-shift, cut off all contact, but what they didn't see coming was what I did next. Now they're completely freaking out. What did you do? You've crossed the line this time. All right, I guess I need to vent, because I'm still shaking. Honestly, I don't even know if I still have a job. Not kidding. If you've ever thought your family was a mess, just wait till you hear this. Here's a bit of context first. Name's Logan. I'm 25. And I've been the responsible one since I was 12. Meanwhile, my younger sister Cassie, she's basically treated like royalty. I'm not even sure it's her fault anymore. It's like my parents built her that way. She's 23 now, but she's never really stuck with anything. One moment it was college, then rent, then car payments. There's always some crisis. And every time someone steps in to clean up her mess, guess who that someone usually is? Yeah, me. My parents always say, she's just sensitive. Translation, if she fails, someone else has to break her fall. And I've been that someone way too many times. Anyway, it was Thursday. I walked into work for my shift and right away, I noticed something was off. My manager kept glancing my way and then awkwardly looking away. Not the usual, you're late kind of look. More like he was bracing for something. Then one of my coworkers sort of leaned in and whispered something, then shuffled off when I got closer. I thought, whatever. Maybe I forgot to clock out last shift or something. I figured I could deal. Went to grab a coffee in the back, and suddenly my phone just starts blowing up. Messages from my mom, my dad, Cassie, even my aunt chiming in for some reason. The group chat was blowing up with, "Call us now," and "Logan, this is serious." But I ignored it. I've got bills to pay and I know how these urgent texts go. It's never really urgent. It's always something about money, or Cassie, or both. Maybe an hour into my shift, while I'm helping out, I hear this loud voice cutting through the store. At first, I think it's just another angry customer. Great, just what I needed. But then I hear my name, and then I see them. My mom, my dad, Cassie, walking through the front door. My stomach sank. My dad was already yelling before he even made it all the way in. Not even trying to lower his voice, just charging ahead like this was his house. I'm standing there thinking, what the hell are you doing here? My mom's face is all tight and dramatic, the kind of look that says she might cry, but really she's just furious. Cassie wouldn't even look up from her phone. She was just scrolling, like this whole thing was a boring school detention she got dragged into. They head straight for me. My dad goes, "So now you're just going to ignore your family?" Loud. Loud enough that people stop what they're doing to look. Then my mom jumps in, saying I'm making them look like idiots, that I'm leaving Cassie to be homeless. And I'm just standing there, stunned. I didn't even know what to say. There were customers all around, but my parents didn't care one bit. They launch into this dramatic speech about how I've destroyed the family legacy, which, let's be real, is hilarious. Because what legacy? The only real tradition in our family is bailing Cassie out when she screws up. My boss finally comes out to see what's going on, and my mom turns right to him like it's his business. Yes, there's a problem. Your employee refuses to help his family. I swear my boss looked like his soul just left his body. So now I'm standing there, my parents are yelling, my boss looks like he wants to vanish into thin air, and Cassie is sitting on a bench scrolling through TikToks like nothing's happening. Then my dad demands my paycheck, straight up tells me, "Give it to us. You owe your sister." That's what family does. I told him no. I'd already paid her rent for 3 straight months. She promised she'd pay me back. Surprise, she didn't. My mom starts going off again, saying I'm a disgrace, that I'm a traitor, not a real son. Then my dad tries to grab my arm. He didn't grab hard, but it was enough to make me jerk away. I told him, "Don't touch me." By then I was trembling, not from fear, but from pure boiling rage. Everyone was staring, and I caught one of my coworkers recording on their phone. I just prayed this wouldn't end up online. Then my dad shoved me, not to hurt me, but enough to make me stumble, so I shoved him right back. My boss stepped in, telling them they needed to leave. But now my mom's crying, saying, "This is what you've turned into. This is what you're doing to your own mother." Then my dad says, "You're dead to us if you walk away." I just stared at them, and something inside me snapped. I started laughing, like I couldn't even control it. I told him, "Fine, I'm dead to you." Then I ripped off my lanyard and dropped it on the counter. I quit. My boss tried to stop me, saying I couldn't just leave in the middle of my shift. I told him, "They're your problem now, I'm done." I walked out. They were still yelling behind me. Cassie finally looked up and rolled her eyes. "Typical," she muttered. On the way out, my mom grabbed my sleeve. I pulled away. She slapped my arm. Not enough to hurt, but enough that it stung. I kept walking. Made it outside. No plan. No idea what to do next. Just me standing there in the chaos they created. So I just walk a loop around the block every one of their numbers, head home, lock the door behind me, and collapse onto the couch. Now I'm just sitting here in my apartment, staring at what feels like 50 unread texts. All of them from family, even from relatives I haven't spoken to in ages. One of my cousins sends me a Snapchat screenshot of the family group chat. My mom's in there calling me a traitor. My dad's saying I've destroyed everything the family worked for. Not a single person asks what actually happened. They just want to know why I'm causing drama or hurting Cassie. No one seems to remember that I'm the one who's always stepped up, paid her rent, covered her bills, drove her around, fixed her car more times than I can count. At this point, it's not even about the money. What really gets me is that they all just expect this from me, like it's some unwritten rule that I'm supposed to drop everything and rescue Cassie every time she screws up. Well, I'm done. They think they embarrassed me in front of my boss and coworkers. They have no idea what's coming. This isn't just a break. I'm not just cutting ties. I'm going to make them wish they never treated me like I was their backup plan. They want to play games? Okay, let's play. They pushed the wrong one too far. Honestly, I might not even have a job to go back to, and I don't care. I've got bigger moves lined up now. Stay tuned. If you thought this was dramatic, just wait. I'm not stopping with a walkout. They're about to find out what it really looks like when you burn bridges and never look back. So yeah, it's Logan again. And not gonna lie, I thought yesterday was rock bottom. But apparently my family's got gold medal talent when it comes to making bad situations worse. I barely slept. My phone wouldn't stop lighting up. Constant group chat dings, missed calls, even voicemails from Aunt Linda. She lives 3 states away and only ever calls when someone dies or gets married. If you're reading this and your family is even halfway normal, count your blessings. So I wake up, instinctively check my phone, and boom, an avalanche of texts. Half the family group chat is screenshots, long-winded guilt paragraphs from my mom, my dad ranting about family duty, and a bunch of dramatic updates about how Cassie is now homeless. Spoiler, she's not. She's crashing at her friend Tessa's place. But I guess that detail didn't fit the narrative. And still, no one's asking what really went down. Just accusations. Why'd you humiliate your mom? Why'd you storm out? What's wrong with you? Even got a message from my boss, a first. He said I need to explain myself if I want to keep my job. I left it on read. Not dealing with that right now. And honestly, this is the part that always plays out the same. My parents have this warped idea of family legacy. To them, that means if Cassie messes up, I'm supposed to quietly clean it up. No complaints, no questions, no thanks. They treat me like I'm some kind of safety net, just because I'm the responsible one, because I budget, because I don't waste money. It doesn't matter that I'm not rich, just careful. So obviously that makes me the one who has to pay for everything. Meanwhile, Cassie gets bailed out nonstop. Car repairs, phone bills, apartment drama, even her cat's vet visits. I've had it. This time I'm seriously done. So I'm just sitting there drinking my coffee, and the more I think about it, the angrier I get. I figured maybe if I went silent, they'd take the hint. Of course not. Now they're harassing my friends. Even my ex for whatever reason. Then it hits me. I'm the one who set up our family phone plan when I was 19. I only did it because I got a decent deal and it saved everyone money. Guess who's still listed as the account holder? Yep, me. Guess who gets charged every month while everyone else promises to Venmo me? Still me. So I log in. And I don't just pause Cassie's line. I remove her completely. Then I take my dad's off. Then my mom's. No warning, no explanation. Just gone. Then I remember the joint checking account my parents pressured me into opening when I was 18. They said it was to teach me about finances. Reality? It was a place to dump overdrafts and bounce checks, since they knew I'd never let the balance go negative. So I log in, move every cent that's actually mine into a new account I opened last month. After the last round of rent chaos, I update my direct deposit info, then walk straight to the bank and close the joint account for good. The teller looks at me and goes, "Are you sure?" I say, "Yeah, totally sure." She just nods. By that point, my phone's going off again. This time, it's a group chat ping from my cousin Kyle. He's usually chill, but he's always tangled in family drama since he's the golden nephew. He sends me a screenshot. My mom's telling the whole family I'm destroying their lives and leaving Cassie completely cut off. Then Cassie starts texting me directly, first calling me an a-hole, then sending a pouty selfie from Starbucks saying she's trapped using public Wi-Fi. I just roll my eyes and mute her. I'm thinking, maybe now they'll finally understand I'm serious. Nope. Not even an hour later, there's a knock at my door. It's my parents, and they're in full-on "we need to talk" mode. My mom tries to push her way inside. I plant my foot in the doorway and say, "You're not coming in unless you calm down." She ignores me and forces her way past. My dad barges in right after her, slamming the door behind him like it owes him something. Before I can even blink, my mom's already launching into it, accusing me of destroying the family's image. She says people are starting to notice something's up, that Cassie hasn't posted anything in days, her phone's off, and now everyone's talking. Dad starts pacing like he's working up steam. He says I need to undo whatever it is I did, or else. I ask, or else what? He says they'll tell everyone what a selfish disappointment I am, how I abandoned my own blood. I look him dead in the eyes and say, "Go ahead. I doubt anyone's going to care half as much as you do." Then my mom tries to slap my arm again. I step back and just stare at her. Not flinching, just done. She drops onto the couch and bursts into tears. And for a second, I actually pause. That tiny voice creeps in, like, wait, am I the bad guy here? But then I replay all the times I covered Cassie's rent. Every single time I skipped out on things I needed, or even wanted, just to pull her out of another mess. I'm not the villain, I'm just exhausted. That's when my dad threatens to call the bank. Says I stole from them. I tell him the truth. That money was mine. Check the bank statements. And suddenly he goes silent. Which, not gonna lie, was the most satisfying moment of my entire week. Eventually they both storm out. Mom slams the door on her way. As they're leaving, I hear her on the phone, probably calling Aunt Linda, saying I locked them out of their own accounts and left poor Cassie to starve. I just sit back down, grab my phone, and order a pizza like nothing happened. But in my head, I'm not done yet. Next move. I go online, start changing every address tied to my name, bills, subscriptions, even that dumb magazine that's still coming to their house for some reason. Long story, anything that's mine, I move it out of their reach. Then I set all my socials to private, block Cassie, block my mom, and yeah, even block my dad after he leaves this 2-minute long voicemail just screaming. I get a DM from my cousin Chloe, one of the few decent ones. She just asks, "Is it true you bailed on your whole family?" I text her back, "No. I just stopped being their personal ATM." Honestly, I don't even know how long I can hold the line, because my parents are masters at guilt tripping. They always find some way to pull me back in. But this time, it feels different. They actually showed up at my door, tried to force their way into my space, used Cassie, again, as a weapon to make me feel like a failure. Number not anymore. I'm done being the fallback plan. Then I hear from Skylar, the cousin Cassie's been crashing with. Apparently Cassie's telling everyone I kicked her out and ruined her whole life. Also, she's now trying to get Skylar to cover her rent. Skylar texts me, "Bro, what the hell did you do?" I just send back a shrug emoji. What else is there to say? Now I'm sitting here, still a little pissed off, but mostly just waiting. Waiting for them to realize how deep this cut went. My mom's image is everything to her. She thrives on keeping up appearances, making sure no one sees the mess behind the curtain. Well, now everyone's getting a front row seat. I don't know exactly what's coming next, but I'm not backing down. Not this time. If they want to play games, I'll make sure they finally lose. Update coming soon, because something tells me my parents are about to go full meltdown, and I am so ready. Yup, it's me again. Not gonna lie, I thought after cutting off the accounts, maybe they'd back off. But nope. If anything, they doubled down. Woke up this morning and my phone was nearly dead, just drained from non-stop notifications. Missed calls from numbers I didn't even recognize, and messages from people I barely know, like Cassie's old high school friend and someone from my mom's church group. All asking, "What's going on with your family? Is Cassie really homeless? Why are you ruining everything?" At this point, I'm not even shocked, just annoyed. It's like my family's turned this into the Olympics of dragging everyone possible into their drama. I'm making coffee, trying to breathe, and I notice a car creeping by my window. Not sketchy, just familiar. My dad's car. Of course, he parks, a few minutes later, loud banging on my door. I almost pretend I'm not home, but then I check my phone and see the text. My dad saying he's outside, wants to talk. He's not leaving until we fix this. I just stand there for a second, staring at the door, then crack it open. Sure enough, both of them are standing there looking way too calm considering the firestorm they've been setting off via text. My mom says, "Let us in. We need to talk." I don't move. I tell her, "Only if you actually listen this time." She shoves past me anyway. My dad follows, slams the door so hard the walls shake. I almost laugh, but I'm just too drained. Dad starts talking, not yelling. He's doing that thing where he acts calm and logical, but just talks over me the whole time. Says I need to stop this madness. Says I'm ruining Cassie's life, that she's crying every night, too scared to leave the house, can't even use her phone. My mom chimes in, already tearing up, saying I'm making her sick with worry, that everyone's asking questions, that she can't even go to church without people looking at her, and I just say, I'm not responsible for Cassie anymore. She's a grown adult. Maybe it's time she figures out how to get a job and start paying her own rent. That's when my dad snaps. He tells me I'm being heartless, that real families don't abandon each other. I shoot back, I haven't abandoned anyone. I just stopped letting you all treat me like your personal doormat. He stands up, steps right into my space, not touching me, but close enough to make his threat loud and clear. I hold my ground. Then he leans in and says, "You're gonna regret this." I stare him down and say, "Not nearly as much as you're about to." And that's when I pull out the folder. Yeah, I know how it sounds. Theatrical. But I've been keeping records for a while now. Screenshots of bank transfers, Venmo receipts, text messages from Cassie swearing up and down she'd pay me back. I open it up and lay it all out on the table in front of them. Then I say, "Here's a list of every dollar I've spent on Cassie since she turned 18. My mom makes a move like she's about to grab the folder. I snatch it back before she can. I say, "You want to talk about what family means? Then let's talk about how family isn't supposed to use each other like backup savings accounts." My dad just stares, then suddenly lunges to grab the papers. I shove his hand away. He barks, "What even is this? You trying to blackmail your own parents?" I shake my head and say, "Nope. Just showing you the truth. And if you want to involve the whole family in this mess, I'll send every one of them the numbers too." That's when my mom slaps her hand on the table, eyes wide, voice cracking. "You're threatening me now? You've lost your mind." The room goes dead silent. It's the most tense, awkward standoff you could imagine. My mom's visibly shaking. My dad's jaw is locked so tight, it's like he might crack a tooth. And me? I'm just waiting for one of them to finally say something that makes an ounce of sense. But instead, I hear footsteps. And suddenly, Cassie walks up the stairs. I didn't even know she was coming over. She's got on that same ratty old hoodie, the one she always wears when she wants to look pitiful. Looks exhausted, but still glued to her phone screen like always. She barely acknowledges me, just drags herself to the kitchen counter and drops into a stool with this huge sigh, full drama mode. Then she goes, "So that's it? You're just gonna let me be homeless?" I look at her. "Cassie, you're not homeless. You're staying with Tessa, and you know it." She rolls her eyes, says Tessa's mom wants her out if she can't pay rent. Then she hits me with, "All you care about is money. You never actually cared about me." And I laugh. Not because it's funny, but because it's so messed up. It's almost unreal. I say, "I've been paying your rent for 2 years. You haven't paid me back a single dime." She shrugs. "You never asked." I just stare at her, speechless. Then, of course, my dad tries to get in the middle, maybe to cool things off, but all he does is throw gas on the fire. I look at all of them and say, "I'm done. You all need to leave. Now." My mom stands too. She says, "You can't shut us out. We're your family." I meet her eyes and say, "Watch me." They finally start moving toward the door, but not before my mom hauls off and slaps my arm. Hard this time. She sneers, "I hope you're proud of yourself." My dad slams the door on his way out. Cassie hangs back for a second, gives me this bitter look, and says, "This is why no one likes you." Then she's gone too. I just stand there in the kitchen, alone. And for once, maybe the first time ever, I don't feel guilty. I just feel angry. If they want to air this out in front of the whole family, fine. I'll give them something real to talk about. So I pull out my phone and I start texting screenshots, the receipts, the breakdown of rent payments, dates, totals, every single detail. No captions, no commentary, just the cold facts. Sent straight to the extended family group chat. Cousin Kyle replies first, "Wait, is this real?" Then Aunt Linda chimes in, "This is a private matter. We shouldn't be seeing this." I respond, "If you're going to lecture me about family, you should know what really goes on behind the scenes." Next thing I know, my phone's on fire. Half the family's blowing up my inbox, furious. The other half, quiet. A few people DM me privately. Stuff like, "Thank you for finally saying what we've all been thinking." Then Cassie starts texting, calling me names, telling me if I don't fix this, she'll never speak to me again. I block her. An hour later, my dad calls. For once, no yelling, just a low, eerily calm voice. He says, "What did you do?" "You've gone too far this time." And I answer, "You haven't seen anything yet." Now they're panicking because that shiny image they've tried to project for years, the family legacy they keep talking about, is crumbling. Turns out it was all smoke and mirrors. And now, everyone's starting to see through it. My mom starts rapid-firing texts, like 20 in a row, telling me I'm destroying her life. My dad threatens me, says I need to delete everything I shared, that if I don't, they'll take action. I tell them, "Go ahead." But I'm not backing down. So now I wait. They thought they had me under control forever. They have no idea who they were messing with. I'm not finished. Hey, it's Logan again. And yeah, this is the last time I'm talking about any of this. I seriously need to move on with my life. But I know a lot of people were asking how it all ended after the group chat explosion. And not gonna lie, some of y'all in my DMs have been wild, but respect for actually keeping up. So here's what happened next. Weirdest thing? I noticed my dad's car was gone super early the next morning. Totally not like him. He's usually the sleep in until noon on Saturdays kind of guy. So I figure either they're hiding out somewhere or they're hatching some kind of plan about how to clean up the disaster I just dropped in the family group chat. I check my phone. I check my phone and see a bunch of missed calls and unheard voicemails. Some texts are from numbers I don't even recognize. And one is from Aunt Cassie, who's literally never texted me first. She's asking if everything's okay with the family. Honestly, it's almost funny how fast news spreads in this family when drama hits. They ignore you for months, but the second something messy happens, boom, the grapevine lights up. I make myself breakfast, scroll through a few reels, trying to act like I'm not waiting for my phone to explode again. But of course, it does. This time it's my mom. She calls twice and then leaves a voicemail. I listen. She's crying, but it's that angry kind of cry. She's talking about how I've humiliated her, how I've ruined her reputation. She says people are canceling plans with her, going silent, suddenly too busy to talk. Then she adds that she can't even pay the bills now, and that it's all my fault. I need to fix this, she says, but her voice doesn't sound furious anymore. She sounds tired, and somehow that makes it feel even worse. Then I get a text from my dad. It's not one of his usual paragraphs, and just, call me, now. I think about ignoring it, but then cousin Kyle calls me out of nowhere and says, did you hear what happened? Turns out my parents' utilities got shut off, and suddenly it all clicks. They weren't just leaning on me for Cassie's expenses. They were relying on my money way more than I thought. They always acted like everything was under control. But clearly, without me as their fallback, everything's falling apart. Around mid-morning, there's a knock at my door. It's my dad. But this time, he doesn't look angry. He looks exhausted, like life finally caught up to him. He says, you need to help us. I tell him, I'm not your emergency plan anymore. He says, you're taking this too far. You're ruining everything. I cross my arms and say, nah, I'm just letting you face the consequences for once. Then my mom storms up the steps behind him, holding her phone like she's about to throw it. She yells, I can't believe you did this. To your own family. I respond, you mean after everything I did for you? She tries to shove past me into the apartment. I block the doorway with my foot. She slaps my arm. Again. You're not a real son, she snaps. You're a traitor. I don't budge. Then Cassie calls. Not a text, an actual phone call, which never happens. She says, you need to fix this now. I can't even apply for a new apartment. No one will co-sign for me, and Tessa's mom is kicking me out. I just say, maybe it's time you figure out how to pay your own way. She hangs up without another word. Now I'm standing there with my parents looking completely unhinged and Cassie fresh out of people to manipulate. And for the first time, I realize they're actually desperate. Not angry, not dramatic, just completely cornered. They've never had to be the ones scrambling. They've always passed that panic on to me. My mom shakes her head and says, you made us look like fools. You've torn this family apart. You'll regret it. And I say, I already regret not doing this a long time ago. Then my dad pulls the classic guilt card. I'll tell everyone what you did. I'll ruin your name. I laugh. Everyone already knows. You just don't like that they finally believe me. He growls, if you don't fix this, you're out of the will. You'll never be part of this family again. And I say, cool. That just means I'll save money on holiday gifts. They finally leave. My mom slams the door so hard the frame actually shakes. I head back into the kitchen, pour myself a bowl of cereal, and start scrolling through the latest explosion of texts on my phone. Some cousins are furious. Some are surprisingly supportive. One just sends a meme about burning bridges. At this point, I don't even care. Later in the day, my dad messages again. He says, please, we're begging you. Just fix the bank stuff. Put it back the way it was. He goes on, your mom can't even show her face anywhere. Cassie's friends are making fun of her for getting cut off. Nobody will lend us anything now that they know you're not bailing us out. And then the kicker. You proved your point. Now stop. I leave him on read. Then they try a new tactic. Get Aunt Linda and cousin Kyle to reach out. Kyle calls and says, you've made your point. Maybe it's time to let it go. I tell him, I'm not interested. Linda leaves this long, emotional voicemail about how family means everything. But then she follows it up with a text that says, honestly, I get it. I'm tired of all the drama too. Since then, things have been weirdly quiet. I went for a walk and bumped into my neighbor. They asked if everything's okay because apparently my mom was crying in the driveway. I just shrugged and said, family stuff, kept walking. Word is Cassie's trying to find a new roommate, but no one wants to live with her because she's been going around telling everyone she has some evil brother who ruined her life. Tessa even texted me, "Didn't know your family was like that." I just sent back a shrug emoji. What else is there to say? And now, for the first time ever, my parents are really on their own. No safety net, no backup. They still try to reach me every few days, alternating between name-calling and begging. But I don't respond. I even got a letter in the mail, like actual handwritten, old-school mail, from my mom, saying how much I've hurt them, how things will never be the same, and honestly, I just don't care anymore. I'm not pretending I'm some kind of hero. This doesn't feel empowering or victorious. It just feels real. Sometimes you have to do hard things, ugly things, if you want people to finally take you seriously. My parents always treated me like the backup plan because I made life easier for them. Now that I'm gone, they're dealing with the fallout, the mess they made themselves. No big ending, no family reunion, just silence. I still get the occasional weird call or angry voicemail. But I'm just out here, living my life. No more bailing out Cassie. No more covering for my parents. No more being the good son who gets nothing in return. If you're reading this and thinking about cutting someone off, just know it's messy, it's awkward, and yeah, some people will hate you for it. But sometimes it's the only way to take your life back. And I don't regret it. I just wish I'd done it sooner. That's it. Thanks for sticking around through the chaos. I'm out.